I have this story I've been following for basically the better part of the week, to be quite frank with you. Yes, it's a little older story. But I was seeing it in different sources that I didn't necessarily equate to being all that honest, if you will. Mm-hmm. When we deal with stories that come from certain corners of the world, there's this hesitancy to pick up on them because it's like the weird medical shit that comes out of China. Anything that is non-war related out of Russia, you definitely cast a wary eye on. Mm-hmm. India is another one because they can get a little weird. So you have to wait for a lot of these stories to finish cooking, if you know. Right. That's how we got the story about the warring macaques.
Monkey. That's right.
And now there's this. Now this comes now to us through the Associated Press. So it has finally been vetted and cleared.
Right.
And what I can lay on you on this tale here is A, fascinating, and B, hilarious. I think. This comes to us from New Delhi.
I'm hungry.
Go to the old Delhi, too. They're pretty good. The superset is that much older. In India, their culture amongst those folks is it's interesting. It's fascinating. It's steeped in thousands of years of tradition.
Right.
And it still bleeds over into today's day and age.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, now there's this couple. This is a retired couple from India. They are suing their son and daughter-in-law, demanding that they produce a grandchild within a year or pay them 50 million rupees.
Wow.
Which in freedom units is $675,000. They ain't
$500,000?
They aren't dicking around over here. They want a grandchild, by God, and if you don't, I'm suing you.
Tell you what, pay us $1 million and we'll make you a baby. That's what they counter offer. You're going to sue us. Tell you what, why don't you just pay us $1 million and we'll go ahead and do it.
Here's the nuts and bolts, if you'll pardon the expression. Sanjeev Ranjan Prasad is a 61-year-old retared government officer, right? You can kind of picture the guy. He's one of the guys who wear like a starched white shirt, nice, cool chinos.
Right.
He knows what's up.
Yeah.
He's an Indian man who is proud. Yes. He has lived a good life so far.
Right.
He's enjoying his golden years with his old lady and his kids and all that. And now where are my
grandchildren?
Well, he said it was an emotional and sensitive issue for him and his wife, who is Sadhana Prasad, and they cannot wait any longer. Now, his son, well, he's a pilot, and he got married about 6 years ago. Dad here, future grandpa, said, we want a grandson or a granddaughter within a year or compensation because I have spent my life's earnings on my son's education.
Wow, that's kind of a shitty parent thing to do, but okay.
He said he spent $47,300 for his son's pilot training in the United States.
All right.
And he said, the main issue is that at this age, we need a grandchild. But these people, my son and daughter-in-law, have an attitude that they don't think about us.
So not providing a grandchild is not thinking
like I said, there's this culture thing.
It's a culture. I know.
He said, we got him married.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that could have been the problem right there.
In the hope we would have the pleasure of becoming grandparents. And it has been 6 years since their marriage. It feels as if despite having everything, we have nothing.
Wow.
So dig this. The court accepted their petition and scheduled it for a hearing next week.
Seriously?
Yes. The son and daughter-in-law could not be reached for comment. The old man said that he and his wife love children, clearly. He said, we are not getting love and affection from where we want it the most. I feel very unlucky. The Associated Press was thoughtful enough to include a picture of the potential grandparents, and he's just angry. You can just tell he's just running his mouth.
He looks pissed.
And she's like, this motherfucker I married to. She probably doesn't care. She probably would like to have a grandchild to play with, but he wants grandchildren. I mean, he's a sensible, proud Indian man, and by God,
I get that, but geez,
I'm going to sue you if you don't get to effing and making me a baby.
Wow. I'm glad my parents weren't like that. Man.
Yeah, my parents were the same way. In fact, I think it was my mother that said, don't you dare have children.
Well, my parents told me, you're going to have one just like you. And they were right.
Yes. My sister has 3. And I see my parents in them so much. Yeah, I really do. Except one of them's a bit of a dumbass, but we'll let that come from the other side of the family.
Right. Yes, exactly.
He's a smart kid. It's a thing. What did you say? I got my kid married. That could be taken so many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Usually it's like I wrote the check, which the groom in this country, the groom doesn't write the check, or the groom's family. Is that right? The bride's
correct. No, the bride's family.
The bride's family does.
I think it is in India too, but I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, because they have arranged marriages in some areas over there.
They do.
It's not as strict as it once was.
Right.
But because they would have that done usually by the time you were like 5.
Right.
You were married.
No, you weren't married at that point.
But you were picked out. You were,
right. I remember talking about that with my mom. God, I was probably in middle school. And I thought, man, that's so weird. Picking a spouse. And she said, yeah, it is.
Thing.
She goes, but now, don't you think that your parents would want to find somebody that they think would really be good for you? And I thought, wouldn't you? And I went, yeah, I guess so. I guess they'd probably pick wisely.
You would hope.
You would hope.
You'd hope. But in India, it is so much different because of the caste system.
Right.
And that needs. Here I'm an American judging another country, but frankly, I think that's inhumane.
Well, I do too. That's how it was done.
You're born into a certain sect of that society, and you can't improve your own life as a result of it.
All right.
If you're born into the Sewage Workers Association, that's where you stay.
That's where you stay.
No. And you can't get an education or marry out of it or leave.
Right.
I have issues with that.
I do too.
And the argument can be said, well, that's no different in the U.S. because you have the upper, middle, and lower classes. And there's not much change between.
No, there isn't.
The 3. Typically, children that are born into wealth stay that way. And people that are born into poverty tend to stay that way, although you find more of them getting out of that.
Right.
As best they can when they develop things like, an education and work ethic.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I get it. The arranged marriage thing is.
It's odd. It is.
Yeah, I talked to a guy, an Indian fellow here in the States who was going to school here, and he's like, yeah. I said, what are you doing next week? He says, I got to go meet the wife. I'm like, I didn't know you were married. And he goes, I'm not.
I'm going to meet her.
I said, pardon me for explaining or, being dumb here, but I thought that was already settled up. And he goes, yeah, I hadn't seen her in 30 years. I have to go meet her now. And the way that works, at least with this guy's family, is
they meet when they were 5, maybe 35 or whatever.
Yeah, and then there comes a point where he comes home.
Yeah.
And he meets her, and then that weekend they get married.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. He didn't go, though. Didn't you tell me your friend didn't go?
He didn't go.
Yeah.
He said, quote unquote, something came up. And it wasn't me. I said, so what, did it send you pictures or anything? And he goes, yeah, but pictures don't tell the whole story.
Right.
I said, yeah, so what happens? What the hell happens? Young men, say 20, 21, right? Usually about the 22 maybe when they start getting married in these cultures, and they go and they finally, quote unquote, meet the wife, and she turns out to be just this horrendous pig. What do you do?
You're married.
Or can't you just say, nah, I'm okay? And he said, there are guys that suddenly discover they're gay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They meet the arranged wife and they go,
Mom, something I got to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they get kicked out of the house, don't ever come back, blah, blah, blah. He says it's an awful way to make that happen. But
yeah.
Or I got a wife and kid back at home,
Right.
back in the States. It's not as prevalent as it once was, but it's still a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It still is a thing. Look, in Japan, they have this odd thing over there. Japan is going through a negative population problem.
Right.
They're losing people.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening is a lot of the younger folk are getting out of their high school or their first couple of years of college. They want to come over here and study.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they come over here, and that's that. But there's this whole pressure by the parents to make sure their kids are like dating and get a relationship and stuff.
Right.
But the Japanese work ethic is so intense that a lot of young guys just don't do it.
Right. No. Yeah.
And a lot of the young women are the same way, especially the pressure's really hard on them.
Yeah.
And it's to the point that there's a service that is available where Japanese women can rent a boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. To bring home to mom and dad.
To bring home to mom and dad.
Yeah.
And then they have to meet for like 2 or 3 hours before the train trip or wherever it is they're going to go for that dinner.
To coach them.
Here's what I like, here's what I don't like. We're going to do this. We're going to hold hands. We're going to canoodle a little bit. We're going to do our little thing. And then when this is over with, we never talk again.
Right.
And it's a service. It's a paid
It's an
service.
escort service,
Kind
in
of.
a way.
Yeah, but I think everybody leaves their pants on.
Rent a boyfriend.
It's what it is rent a boyfriend.
Wonder if we could do that here.
Why not? Isn't that what Tinder is?
I don't think you rent them.
That's what hookers do.
All right.
They're just rentable. But to take somebody home to meet mom and dad. And
Like
say,
the Puerto Rican girls.
He's studying engineering at the university. He's going to be a doctor. He's going to build ships. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Instead he's like, nah, I'm just hanging around.
I'm good.
I get paid in hand jobs. And dinner later. This guy's got it working because every other weekend he's got a gig.
Yeah.
And it pays like $300 or $400.
Right.
Plus your expenses.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how successful that really is because you can't get shit by mom. Mom's sitting there going,
Oh, no.
this couple is not dating. This guy is a ruse.
Oh, right. Right.
And I think it's the other way around when there's women that are available to these guys to go out as their proxy, to go meet mom and dad. And dad's going to pull the son aside and go, you're not hitting that. You're too stupid. She's gorgeous. You're dumb.
Yeah.
What the hell?
What the hell are you doing with my daughter?
How the hell did you pull that off?
How much she paying you? I'll double it for you to go away.
To go away. It's like at a bar on Beale Street. $10 to play Mustang Sally. Here's $20 to make it stop.
Right.